Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into the timeless wisdom of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, a cornerstone in the study of yogic philosophy and practice. Originating from the rich spiritual tradition of ancient India, this pivotal work offers profound insights into the metaphysical, spiritual, and ethical foundations of yoga. Through its verses, Patanjali illuminates the path to achieving deep-seated happiness and inner peace by mastering the mind, emotions, and physical well-being. Attributed to the sage Patanjali, who is revered in various historical contexts as a profound teacher or a collective symbol of a spiritual lineage, these sutras date back to a period between 500 BC and 300 AD. Despite the mystery surrounding Patanjali's exact identity, his teachings have profoundly influenced the development and practice of yoga for centuries. The modern relevance of Patanjali's teachings was rejuvenated by Swami Satchidananda, a 20th century Indian yoga master. Swami Satchidananda's dedication to spreading these ancient philosophies has played a crucial role in popularizing yogic practices in the Western world, making the profound knowledge contained in the Yoga Sutras more accessible to a global audience. This episode is perfect for seekers of wisdom, happiness, and peace, followers of Eastern spiritual traditions, and anyone curious about integrating the profound insights of yogic philosophy into their lives. Whether you are new to the concepts of yoga or a seasoned practitioner, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali offers timeless guidance on the journey towards self-realization and inner tranquility. Join us as we explore how these ancient teachings can illuminate the path to holistic well-being and spiritual fulfillment in our modern world. The Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, timeless teachings for mind, body, and emotional harmony. Introduction: unveiling the essence of yoga, more than just stretching. When the term yoga flutters into our conversation or crosses our minds, the imagery most of us summon is that of intricate poses and physical flexibility, often within the confines of a modern, mirrored studio. This picture, however, barely scratches the surface of what yoga truly represents. Originating from the ancient wisdom of the East, yoga unfurls itself as a profound spiritual path and philosophy, one that has been weaving its insights through the tapestry of human consciousness for millennia. Yoga, in its essence, is an invitation to embark on a journey of self-transformation. It's a comprehensive guide that touches upon the connectivity of mind and body, delves into the realms of morality and ethics, and even navigates the intricate landscapes of metaphysics and psychology. Far from being a mere set of physical exercises, yoga offers a holistic approach to achieving a state of inner peace, happiness, and understanding of the self. The philosophy of yoga, with its deep historical roots and complex layers, might seem esoteric or abstract at first glance, but when approached as a practice, it reveals itself as a remarkably practical guide. Yoga outlines a clear, methodical path designed to help practitioners navigate through life's many challenges. It equips individuals with the tools necessary to face and dismantle the obstacles that stand in the way of personal growth and enlightenment. Through the exploration of the yoga philosophy, several transformative insights come to light. Firstly, the concept of the self is not as straightforward as it appears. Our perception of who we are is often clouded by a myriad of factors, leading us down a path of misunderstanding and confusion about our true nature. Secondly, at the heart of human suffering lies the ego. This elusive part of our identity, responsible for crafting a narrative of separateness and individuality, often becomes the root cause of our pains and sorrows. Lastly, the practice of yoga serves as a beacon of hope, a means to transcend the limitations imposed by the ego. Through dedicated practice, discipline, and introspection, yoga offers a pathway to liberate ourselves from the chains of suffering, guiding us toward a state of serenity and spiritual fulfillment. Diving into the ancient wisdom of yoga thus reveals not just a system of physical postures, but a rich, transformative philosophy that holds the keys to unlocking a deeper understanding of our existence and the universe around us. Part 1. Bridging Worlds. Sri Swami Satchidananda's universal interpretation of the Yoga Sutras. In an ancient tapestry of wisdom, nestled between the folds of time ranging from 500 BC to 300 AD, the Indian sage Patanjali intricately stitched together 196 aphorisms known as the Yoga Sutras. These sutras, compact and cryptic, serve as the bedrock of yogic philosophy and practice, offering a spiritual compass for seekers. However, unlocking their profound wisdom proves challenging due to their dense and enigmatic nature. They were perhaps initially designed as mnemonic devices, brief, evocative sentences that encapsulate vast teachings, meant to jog the memory rather than expound fully fleshed-out ideas. In the labyrinth of these ancient texts stands a modern interpreter, Sri Swami Satchidananda, a 20th-century yoga master whose life journey took him from the realms of agriculture, science, and technology to the deeper, more fulfilling paths of yoga. Satchidananda's spiritual odyssey was guided by the luminous teachings of the Yoga Sutras, leading him to offer his own translation and commentary in the late 1970s. His ambition was not merely to decode Patanjali's writings, but to make them accessible and relatable to a global audience, transcending religious and cultural boundaries. Sri Swami Satchidananda's interpretive key, the essence of his message, is that the Yoga Sutras are not confined to any single spiritual doctrine, but are open and relevant to individuals of any and every spiritual background. Against the backdrop of the sutras considered within the Hindu tradition, Satchidananda positioned himself as a global spiritual citizen, advocating for a yoga stripped of singular religious identity. At the heart of his interpretation lies the Sanskrit term yoga, meaning union. This concept leads to an inevitable inquiry. Union with what? Satchidananda, much like various spiritual traditions worldwide, uses a kaleidoscope of names to describe this ultimate union: God, Purusa, Atman, Isvara, the seer, and the cosmic mind, to name a few. For him, the nomenclature was of secondary importance. What mattered was the universal truth they collectively gestured towards. This truth, though ineffable and transcending the confines of language, hints at the existence of a profound essence. It suggests an omnipresent spirit or consciousness that pervades the material universe, inviting us to recognize it, connect with it, and allow its transformative power to work through us. Sri Swami Satchidananda's legacy is thus an invitation to embrace the Yoga Sutras, not as esoteric Hindu scriptures, but as a universal guide to spiritual insight and personal transformation. By broadening the lens through which we view these ancient teachings, Satchidananda opens the doors to a more inclusive understanding of yoga, one that resonates with the core truths shared by diverse spiritual paths across the globe. Part 2. Discovering Truth Through the Practical Journey of Yoga. For those who approach the world with a scientific mindset, discussions about God, the cosmic mind, or any esoteric concepts might raise skeptics' eyebrows. It's natural to question abstract notions when we're accustomed to seeking tangible, empirical evidence in understanding the universe. But what if we reframed these spiritual concepts within a more familiar paradigm? Imagine if a respected scientist explained that at the heart of our physical reality lies energy, manifesting in myriad forms. Suddenly, the idea of a foundational essence underpinning everything becomes more palatable, doesn't it? This is precisely where the beauty of yoga shines through. As presented by the insightful Sri Swami Satchidananda, he doesn't demand adherence to specific terminologies or philosophies. Rather, he extends an invitation. Yoga, in essence, is offered as an experiential tool, a means to explore and refine one's relationship with the universe, regardless of the labels we choose to use, such as energy. The core proposition here is profound yet simple. Yoga's effectiveness and truths are open for personal verification through direct experience. This philosophy acknowledges that while the rich tapestry of yoga's wisdom serves to satisfy our intellectual curiosity, it barely scratches the surface of the true essence that yoga seeks to reveal. The ancient scriptures and philosophical musings of yoga point towards a truth that eludes mere intellectual grasp. It beckons for a deeper experiential understanding that can only be achieved through the lived practice of yoga. Yoga unfurls its wisdom through an eightfold path, encompassing practices from ethical abstentions and observances to the nuances of breath control, sense withdrawal, focused concentration, deep meditation, and ultimately, seamless contemplation. While we'll delve deeper into each facet at another time, it's crucial to understand these practices as avenues towards encountering profound truths. The crux of yoga lies in its promise of union, be it with the divine, the cosmic essence, or any profound underlying reality you resonate with. This profound experience of union illuminates the truth about our existence and our universe, promising transformative peace and joy in its wake. Sri Swami Satchidananda, alongside Patanjali and countless other yogis, advocates for this transformative journey. Yet, they invite skepticism and encourage personal inquiry. Don't rely solely on their words or historical texts. Embrace the practices of yoga, immerse yourself in its disciplined yet liberating journey, and witness the truth unfold through your own experience. Yoga, therefore, stands not as a dogmatic creed, but as an invitation to embark on a deeply personal voyage of discovery. It assures us that through diligent practice, the veritable gifts of clarity, joy, and peace are not merely aspirational. They are attainable and rooted in the direct experience of every individual who dares to journey within. Part 3. Exploring the depths of self beyond body and mind in yoga philosophy. Venturing into the realm of yoga, it's easy to get entangled in the allure of mastering poses or breathing techniques. Yet, diving deeper, yoga extends far beyond these practices, beckoning us to a foundational philosophical understanding that promises a transformative self-awareness. Picture this philosophical journey as a ladder. It's a tool, essential for reaching new heights, but once you've ascended, you can confidently move beyond its rungs. This philosophy brings us to a profound realization. Our identification with external facets of existence, including our own bodies and minds, is a misinterpretation of who we truly are. Let's dissect this further. When asked about our identity, we often tie ourselves to roles, physical attributes, or even possessions. I am a parent, I am wealthy, or I am my profession. These labels derive from our mind's perceptions, simplifying our existence into easily digestible narratives. Yet, these narratives are far from the truth. For instance, a parent is not the child, nor is a wealthy individual the sum of their bank account. Such identifications, when we closely examine them, are illusory. Peeling away these layers of false identity, we might be inclined to claim, well then, I am merely my body or my mind. Notice the phrasing here, my body, my mind. These expressions subtly acknowledge ownership, suggesting a separation from these entities. If they are ours to observe, to whom do they belong? And who is the observer? At this juncture, we confront a pivotal realization. We are neither our body nor our mind. If we are not these, then what remains? What essence of self exists beyond these external markers? This inquiry is at the heart of yoga's philosophy. It leads us on an inward expedition to discover the true self, untangled from the physical and mental constructs we've clung to. The path of yoga, with its intricate practices and philosophical insights, guides us to this profound recognition of our existence beyond the tangible and perceivable. Thus, the essence of yoga philosophy isn't merely an arcane set of ideas to be intellectually appreciated and then discarded. It's a practical framework, a ladder, if you will, aiding us in transcending misconceptions about our identity. By shedding false identifications with the external, including the very notions of body and mind. Yoga illuminates the path to discovering our authentic self, an existence so profound and universally connected that it defies the limitations of conventional descriptors. Embarking on the practice of yoga, then, isn't just about achieving physical flexibility or mastering meditative states. It's about embarking on a quest within to unearth the true essence that remains when we strip away the layers of external identification. It's a journey that invites us to question, explore, and ultimately discover the very core of our being. Part 4. Unveiling the Unified Spirit, the Essence Beyond Distinctions. Imagine embarking on a journey of subtraction, peeling away layer after layer of what you consider you, your body, your thoughts, your roles, your possessions. As you discard these external identifiers, you arrive at a startling revelation. Stripped of these, what remains? You're left with the pristine essence of self, an unadorned I that transcends all superficial attributes. This core essence, this unblemished I, let's refer to it as the true self. This notion doesn't just apply in isolation, it extends universally. Every person, when divested of their external identifiers, reveals this same pure I. This true self, then, is a common thread, a shared essence that knows no distinction from one individual to another. And herein lies an intriguing paradox. If our true selves are fundamentally this pure I, devoid of any distinguishing features, then the lines that we often draw to separate ourselves from others essentially dissolve. The key revelation here is profound. The true self is spirit, a unifying force that pervades every individual and every entity. If we acknowledge that this indefinable true self, this spirit, underlies both our own existence and that of everyone else, we recognize an interconnectedness that transcends physical or mental distinctions. For the sake of conversation, this essence is referred to in various ways, true self and spirit being among them. But let's take this contemplation further. Consider every living being, every inanimate object in existence. Strip away their identifying qualities, and you're left with the same universal essence, a spirit that is indistinguishable and omnipresent. In this view, everything in the cosmos, from the animate to the inert, shares the same foundational spirit. Despite the myriad forms and the illusion of separateness, at the core, everything is manifestation of the same true self. Yogic philosophy, with its rich Sanskrit vocabulary, offers terms to describe this cosmic dance. Prakriti refers to the vast expanse of the material universe, encompassing everything we perceive as matter, including our own minds, considered here as a refined product of matter. Conversely, the underlying spirit, the essence that animates the material world of Prakriti, is known as Purusa. The interplay between Prakriti and Purusa, between the material universe and the unifying essence, lies at the very heart of yogic philosophy, serving as the bridge where philosophy morphs into practice. This recognition, that at our core we share a universal spirit, is not just an abstract philosophical idea, but a profound truth that yoga invites us to experience firsthand. It's a call to see beyond the superficial differences, to recognize the unity that binds us all, laying the foundation for a practice that seeks not just personal enlightenment, but a deep intrinsic connection with the world and every being within it. Part 5. Navigating the Mirrored Waters, Understanding the Ego through Yogic Wisdom. At first glance, the quest to understand our true self seems filled with paradoxes. If the true self or spirit is inherently who we are, pervading every particle and being, why does its true nature elude us? Why do we often find ourselves ensnared in identities that seem far removed from this profound essence? To illuminate these questions, let's dive deeper into the nuanced philosophy of yoga, which offers insights into the complex dynamics between our mind and the true self. The core insight here is that our mind, as part of Prakriti, the vast material universe, acts as a distorted mirror reflecting Purusa, or our true self. Envision your mind as the surface of a serene lake. This lake mirrors everything around it: your body, the trees on its shores, the sky above. Your mind, similar to the lake, reflects the various components and sensations of the material world, perceived through the senses. However, this serene surface can easily be disturbed. Ripples caused by the winds of negative emotions, desires, and attachments, or the muddiness stirred by false beliefs, cloud its clarity. This disturbance leads to a distorted reflection of reality, akin to the unsettling images seen in a funhouse mirror. At the heart of this analogy lies a pivotal question. If the mind is akin to a mirror, then who is the observer? Who is it that looks upon this mirror? The answer points us back to Purusa, our true self. But here's the twist. When the true self beholds itself in this distorted mirror, what it sees is not its pure essence, but a skewed version of itself. This we know as the ego. The ego thus emerges as a distorted echo of our true self, shaped by the turbulence and impurities clouding our mind. It's not our authentic identity but a mirage, compelling us to cling to false identifications and leading us astray from realizing our inherent oneness with everything. Yogic philosophy presents this understanding not merely as an abstract concept, but as a practical challenge. Our skewed perception, driven by the ego, stands as the primary source of our sufferings and disillusionments. Recognizing this, the practice of yoga unfolds as a journey of purification. Through yoga, we seek to calm the turbulent waters of our mind, cleanse the distortions, and thus enable a clear reflection of our true self to emerge. In this way, yoga serves as a compass guiding us towards the transcendence of ego. By navigating the mirrored waters of our mind with mindfulness and discipline, we gradually uncover the path to experiencing our true self in its unblemished form, reconnecting with the universal spirit that binds us all. Part 6. The Perils of Egoism: How Misidentification Leads to Suffering. Let's take a moment to revisit our journey through the landscape of yogic philosophy, drawing upon the imagery of a serene lake to understand the nature of the mind, the true self, and the emergence of the ego from the disturbances within this peaceful liquid canvas. The calm surface of the lake, our mind, is meant to reflect our true self. Instead, muddied by turbid thoughts and emotional turbulence, what we see is a distortion, an altered reflection we've come to know as the ego. When we peer into this disturbed surface, into the depths of our own minds, and claim, "This is me," we're mistaking the ego for our true self. This misidentification is more than just an innocent error. It's the root of a profound existential dilemma known as egoism. But what are the consequences of this misstep? The core insight to grasp is this: ignorance of the true self leads to egoism and, ultimately, to suffering. By equating ourselves with this distorted reflection, the ego, we inadvertently shackle ourselves to all its insecurities and afflictions. The ego is not an independent entity, but a mirage tainted by our fears, desires, attachments, and misconceptions. These mental contaminants not only obscure our true reflection, but actively warp our perception of reality. Consider the implications of this distorted self-perception. The ego, infused with desires like the pursuit of wealth or the attachment to physical objects, binds our sense of well-being to these external factors. If these desires are threatened or unmet, or if our possessions are lost or damaged, the ego experiences this as a personal affront, a direct hit to me. This identification with the non-self, the belief that we are our desires, our possessions, or even our bodies, ensnares us in a cycle of worry and distress. We fret over potential losses, grieve actual ones, and remain ever anxious about the stability of our external anchors of identity. This process of identification with the ego and its concerns sets the stage for suffering. Our happiness becomes contingent upon the fluctuating states of what lies outside us, leading to a life riddled with anxiety, disappointment, and pain. The ego, with its distorted understanding of selfhood, acts as a lens that misrepresents both our internal landscape and the world at large. drawing us further away from peace and equanimity. Yogic philosophy, therefore, shines a light on a path to freedom, not by seeking external change, but by cultivating an inner clarity that recognizes the ego for what it truly is, a superficial and turbulent layer masking our deeper, unchanging true self. Through practices aimed at purifying the mind and stilling its waves, yoga offers a way to dissolve these false identifications, leading us out of suffering and back into the serene embrace of our authentic being. Part 7. Yoga, a path to clarity and connection with the true self. At the heart of the human experience lies a profound question. How can we move beyond the constraints of ego to touch the essence of our true self? The journey towards this realization might seem daunting, obscured by the turbulence of our thoughts and attachments. Yet, the path is simpler than it appears, rooted in the ancient practice of yoga. Imagine our minds as waters stirred by the winds of desires, fears, and misconceptions. Within these troubled waters lies a reflection, distorted and barely recognizable. This is the ego, a mere shadow of our true self. To see beyond this illusion, to recognize the unblemished reflection of who we truly are, requires that we first calm the waters, clearing the debris that clouds our vision. Herein lies the transformative potential of yoga. Practicing yoga makes your mind calm and clear so you can behold the true self. But how does one still the mental waters? How do we purge the contaminants that churn within? The journey begins with the foundational practices of yamas and niyamas, 10 ethical and moral guidelines that serve as the first steps in the yoga path. Like a purifying agent gently poured into our turbulent lake, these practices begin the process of sedimentation, allowing the mind's waters to find their natural, tranquil state. The yamas call us to abstain from actions that disturb our waters: stealing, lying, greediness, lustfulness, and violence. Each avoidance is a step away from the tumultuous waves crashing against our consciousness. Conversely, the niyamas draw us towards behaviors that reflect the purity of our true self, embracing cleanliness, contentment, a willingness to endure for the sake of growth, an inclination towards spiritual learning, and a commitment to surrender to a higher principle, be it God, the universe, or any conception of a supreme being. Together, these practices serve as a compass, guiding us away from the external chaos that binds us to the ego and directing our gaze inwards. They encourage us to shed the layers of desire and attachment, to relinquish the quest for external validation and fulfillment, steering us instead towards the eternal tranquility that resides within. By cultivating moral integrity and nurturing spiritual contemplation through the yamas and niyamas, we gradually untangle the knots of egoism. The practice of yoga, in its fullest sense, becomes a journey of purification, a gentle clearing of the mind's waters. In this clarity, the true self emerges, not as a concept to be grasped intellectually, but as a living presence to be experienced directly. Thus, yoga offers not just a theoretical promise, but a practical pathway to transcend suffering and reconnect with our most authentic being. By committing to this practice, we embark on a transformative process that clears our vision, allowing us to behold the true self in its infinite purity and peace. Part 8. Navigating the path to samadhi through yogic discipline. Embarking on a journey through the practice of yoga unfolds an intricate tapestry of physical and mental disciplines, each designed to pave the way toward the ultimate spiritual state of samadhi. While adhering to the ethical precepts of the yamas and niyamas offers a strong moral foundation, the quest for profound inner clarity and calm extends far beyond mere abstention from wrongful acts, like stealing, in its most obvious form. Indeed, yoga challenges us to perceive our actions and possessions through a lens of profound mindfulness, questioning whether what we take for ourselves genuinely serves us or rather deprives others. This subtle understanding of ethical living underscores the perpetual scope for personal growth and moral refinement on the path to enlightenment. But as we strive for moral and ethical excellence, yoga unfolds a rich array of physical and mental practices aimed at harmonizing our beings and guiding us to a state of spiritual bliss known as samadhi. Herein lies a crucial insight. Yogic practice contains a variety of physical and mental exercises that help you reach a spiritual state called samadhi. For many, meditation may seem like the direct route to achieving internal peace and encountering the true self. However, mastering meditation is no small feat. The body's restlessness, the mind's incessant chatter, and the intrusion of unwelcome thoughts and sensations often form a formidable barrier to achieving a singular focus. Recognizing these challenges, yoga provides a holistic toolkit to nurture steadiness of body and serenity of mind. Posture control exercises, or asanas, teach us to hold our bodies in stillness for extended periods, preparing us for prolonged meditation. Breath control exercises, or pranayama, cultivate a rhythmic, deliberate breathing pattern that fosters mental equilibrium and focus. Sense control exercises train us to retreat from the distracting stimuli of the external world, while concentration exercises fortify our ability to channel our attention onto specific points of focus, whether they be simple objects or abstract concepts. Yet, the centerpiece of this journey is meditation, specifically, meditation that anchors on the most vital point of focus, the true self, God, or the Spirit, according to individual understanding and belief. Deep, undistracted meditation can gradually dissolve the barriers between the meditator and the meditation subject. In this profound union, the dualism of subject and object vanishes, unveiling a seamless oneness. Such a pinnacle of yogic practice is known as samadhi, a state of superconsciousness where all distinctions fade away, leaving only the radiant presence of the true self. It is in the heart of samadhi that one encounters the essence of being, transcending the limitations of ego and personal identity to experience an unparalleled spiritual liberation. Thus, through its comprehensive disciplines, yoga orchestrates a step-by-step ascent towards this ultimate state of realization, offering not just a set of exercises, but a transformative path to uncovering the profound unity and divinity within. Final summary. At the core of the wisdom that yoga imparts is the understanding that the root of much of our suffering lies in the misidentification with our egos, in the hustle and noise of everyday life, clouded by a storm of negative thoughts, emotions, desires, attachments, and misconceptions. We mistake this egoic reflection for our true selves. It's this illusion that entangles us in a cycle of dissatisfaction and turmoil. However, yoga offers us a beacon of hope with its rich tradition incorporating moral codes, ethical practices, and an array of both physical and mental disciplines. These elements work in harmony to purify our minds, stripping away the layers of confusion and turmoil that distort our perception. By integrating the teachings of yoga into our lives, embracing the yamas and niyamas, committing to the discipline of asana and pranayama, and honing our capacity for deep meditation, we embark on a transformative path. This journey is profound, yet inherently practical, as it gradually fosters the serenity and clarity needed to perceive the true self amidst the noise. As we cultivate this inner stillness, the ego's grip loosens, revealing a reflection of our deepest essence, untouched and radiant. It's here, in the still waters of a purified mind, that we encounter our innate wisdom, compassion, and contentment. Ultimately, yoga doesn't just offer an escape from suffering, it invites us to rediscover our inherent unity with all existence. Through dedicated practice, we transcend the illusions of separateness, reaching a state of blissful peace and understanding that liberates us from the confines of the ego. Yoga, thus, represents not merely a series of exercises, but a journey towards self-realization, a path that guides us back to our true nature, where enduring peace and happiness reside. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.